This is a bit more on this. This was on Talk. I saw this on the homepage, so I wanted to see it. Rupert Lowe and I joining forces would be formidable, says advanced UK party leader Ben Habib. Okay, Ben.
It is well known that both you and Rupert Lowe,
Habib.
do not
Habib.
really
What's
get on
saying?
that well with Nigel Farage, and don't foresee any kind of.
See now that this is going to become like gang warfare now. All the ops, and the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and all of this.
Unification
Politics,
between the
innit?
three of you. But you and Rupert Lowe, despite the fact you're, if you like, on separate paths, have retained an amicable relationship, and politically I think that you're very close. The question people are asking now that Rupert Lowe has turned his movement, Restore Britain, into a political party, and you, of course, already had your established body, Advance UK, will you two get together? Will you?
His setup is just sick. It's just he's a farmer, and it's all coming. All of this based sort of political moves and what he's saying, what he wants to do. He's saying it from a farm. You know what I'm saying? People only hat tip stuff like that.
Is it possible that Advance UK and Restore Britain could unite?
Why not? Start making unifications. Become one.
Just to perhaps put a bit more meat on the bones of your comments, Rupert and I are ideologically and politically, philosophically very similar. You could hardly put, a cigarette paper between us. And if you look at the speech that I made a week ago in the Emmanuel Center on the importance of culture and immigration and so on in this country, we put out a policy on culture and on immigration, our Advance UK did. If you look at that speech and compare it to the...
Farage is just hilarious. He's just got one of them faces, isn't it?
Piece to camera that Rupert did when he declared that Restore Britain was going to become a political party. It's almost as if we were reading the same speech. And so we are politically, philosophically very, very similar. Rupert initially didn't want to set up a political party. In fact, if I go right back to the beginning...
He's one of them legends. Rupert seems like he's one of them legends. I didn't want to do this, but I had to. I didn't want to be the boss, man. I didn't want to be the boss, but I can do it.
Very briefly, Advance UK was set up initially thinking Rupert would lead it, in agreement with Rupert that he would lead it.
Right.
He then changed his mind. He wanted to do a movement. I thought a political party was necessary. You can't change anything at the ballot. You can't change anything the way the country's run unless you do it through the ballot box. And so it's taken Rupert Lowe a little while to come round to that realization. In the meantime, Advance UK has got 40,000 members, dozens of councillors across the country. We set up a national network and we've become registered as a political party. So we are a long, long way ahead of Restore Britain. And when Rupert declared that he wished to convert Restore Britain to a political party on Friday night, you might have seen I put out a little piece of camera that I did yesterday morning, saying that we would be very happy to merge with Restore Britain. It makes no sense for two politically, philosophically aligned people
would it be called?
To be doing two separate things.
Advance Restore UK Britain.
When we've already, done all the heavy lifting in order to become a political party. We've established ourselves. We are an established political party now. So we'll just see how those discussions
Any response from Rupert yet?
No response from Rupert yet.
Rupert wants to run his thing. This is Rupert's thing. If you want to join Rupert's thing, so join. But Rupert ain't going to join your thing. This is how it's looking.
But would you
join
personally
your
be
Rupert joining things
of the prospect of Restore Britain and Advance UK?
I think a lot of it as well is they realise the popularity that it's got, like, very quickly, like that, because a lot of, like I was saying before in the other video, a lot of people are thinking a lot of this stuff that Rupert is just saying. So when they see someone that is just straight up saying it without none of that flowery language, without none of that bullshit, just straight saying it, they're going, yeah, I love this. I love this. He'll quickly rise in popularity, and obviously it's gonna catch their attention. The other parties that are similar. Well, dash your party away and join. And this guy's saying, yeah, we're well ahead, and it would then help them get fast track their political party thing or whatever it is that you shitters do.
Getting together and forming a single unit.
It would be a formidable force if Rupert and I got together. We are complementary in many respects. He does certain things particularly well. I do other things, if I may say so, reasonably well. And
it's humble, isn't
he? You do, Ben. You're a very good communicator. We know that. Yeah, so is Rupert, by the way. But you're both very good at that. Yeah.
So I think we would be formidable.
Rupert's the man of the hour right now,
we would carry a very big base with us immediately. It remains, all coming together, organizations coming together are fraught. The devil's always in the detail, even if the big picture makes sense. So we just need to see what the next few weeks holds. But I'm sure that, there will be discussions.
So you intend to get together or to talk to Rupert at the first possible opportunity with a view to a possible unification, which is interesting. Tell me this. I had on Alex Wilson, London Assembly member earlier. Yeah. Reform UK making a lot about, Restore Britain, they're not organised enough, they're not ready for the May elections and all that. Well, that may well be true. But
they've just popped up.
This idea that Reform UK won't be at all bothered by Rupert Lowe forming this party, potentially combining with you, that's for the birds. They must be very worried.
The Reform were already, I have it from people at HQ in Reform, that instructions had already been given to attack Advance UK because of the progress we were making. You can imagine the shockwaves through HQ at Reform now that Rupert has entered the scene. And let's not make any mistake, his announcement, I think, got 20 million views. I can't remember how many likes it is. It's probably pushing 100,000 likes. It's gained a lot of traction.
A lot of people are thinking that.
Very, very quickly. Reform UK will be absolutely petrified about what's going on. And rightly.
Obviously.
And rightly, because Reform UK has vacated that part of the political spectrum, which actually created Reform UK, for which they were carrying the torch
their focus.
Of hope. And they denounced their own...
Because this is what a lot of people are thinking.
...own people in many respects. The fact that Rupert Lowe exists now in a separate political movement or party in due course, and I'm doing a separate thing, is because Reform has failed in its aims. It is pivoted towards the centre ground. It's taken on people like Jake Berry, Zahawi, Nadine Dorries, all these kind of liberal Democrat Tories who created the problems which we're now wrestling with. And Reform's lost the plot. We wouldn't exist if Reform hadn't lost the plot.
It's like they get infested, isn't it? It's like parasites or something. I don't know what happens.
Yeah, let me... I mean, why do you think... I mean, you've sort of laid out what your position is there just now, but why do you think it is worth you and Rupert Lowe getting together to foil Nigel Farage and Reform UK?
Well, it's not to foil it, mate.
This is the big misunderstanding. Rupert Lowe is 68, I'm 60, we're both wealthy. We are not in politics because we want to be big political wigs. We're in it because we see the country is facing...
This is what the people need, you know what I mean? Sincere people that are already wealthy and do not need greed and all of this, and that motivation is gone. These people just see that this is all messed up, man, and are able to make changes, you know what I mean? These are the sort of people that you honestly need.
Many threats.
If you have people on the come up and not yet have wealth or anything like that, wealth is a massive deterrent to stuff like that. It clouds a lot of stuff. There's no denying that, man.
The very existence of this country, I think, is threatened. That's why we're in politics. We want to save this country. That's why we are sticking to our guns. taking the high road, not the easy path. That's why we're standing firm on our ground. And that's why, actually, Rupert Lowe and I should get together. There's nothing that should prevent us from doing so. We're unified in our aim, which is to save the United Kingdom.
I mean, do you essentially feel that Reform UK, which, of course, when you were part of it, carried with it the hopes and the dreams of the people of the right, people who are right of centre, do you now feel that what the Reform UK has evolved into, with the recruitment of all these Labour, Labour next, Labour next, no doubt.
They have got Labour in them.
Yeah, so, but the recruitment of all these former Tory politicians, do you feel that they are betraying the cause of the right?
They're betraying the country. They're giving off the impression that they represent an agenda which would deliver a proud, sovereign, prosperous United Kingdom. And actually, they're absorbing the globalist liberal lot. That's what's happening. You look at the complexion of the people that they've taken from the Tory party. Sorry, let's just get one thing straight. It's not members from the Tory party coming across to reform that are a problem. It probably isn't even councillors coming across from the Tory party to reform that's a problem. The problem is taking in ministers, former cabinet ministers, former senior members of the Conservative Party, who were part of the political philosophy which brought this country to its knees. Zahawi is on the record of being pro-immigration.
How are you going to do better?
He wanted an asylum granted to all illegal immigrants that were in the country in 2013.
Jake Berry, who I like personally, is a Remainer.
Yeah. He's a Remainer. How can you stand for an independent United Kingdom when you've got a Remainer? And yes, they say, oh, well, he's changed his mind. He's had a Damascene conversion. Well, he hasn't. And you've got pictures up on Talk at the moment of Matthew Goodwin. Matthew Goodwin used to write articles for the extreme far left paper, Hope Not Hate, denouncing people on the right-hand side of politics. I don't know if your viewers are aware of that. Matthew Goodwin comes from the extreme left of British politics. You do not convert from the extreme left to the right-hand side very easily. There is something very wrong going on in reform.
It is a journey that quite a few people...
Something suspicious going on in them offices there. What's going on?
People do make when they're younger.
What's happening?
When they're younger, they're extremely...
Yeah, but not as adults. Not as adults.
Let me ask you this.
Hope Not Hate is an awful organisation. Awful organisation.
Couldn't agree with you more. I'm more sort of hate, not hope. That's my line. Seriously, Rupert Lowe, this is a prosaic question, but interesting. Rupert Lowe has put out a tweet. So, in effect, this is the first policy that he's unleashed now that Restore Britain is a political party and not a movement. He put this tweet out earlier today. Under a Restore Britain government, parents would have the right to take their children out of school for a limited number of days per year without getting fined. Assuming the child is developing well and attendance is otherwise good, families will be entitled to spend that time with their children as they see fit. So this is the issue of parents often taking cheaper holidays during term times with their kids and then getting fined for taking their kids out of school. Rupert Lowe says under Restore Britain, that system would end, they wouldn't get punished anymore. I mean, I don't know where I stand on that issue, but it's kind of a weird first policy to announce, isn't it?
It is an odd one, I agree. It's not.
I was just saying earlier,
just having a laugh.
But I just said to producer Chris, I said, oh, what is he going for, the deadbeat parent vote then?
I mean, we at Advance UK, what we're trying to do is we set out a mission statement. Now. We've articulated our political philosophy.
I never ever heard of Advance UK. I won't lie. I will not lie.
And then last week we came out with a policy on culture, which we think is the critical policy we need to establish. And then because we're losing our culture in this country, we're losing our identity, we're ceasing to understand who we are. And once we've reestablished who we are as a people, once we have a policy for that, we'll build all our other policies for the restoration of our sovereignty, restoration of our democracy, restoration of our judicial system, and so on. All coherently, holistically linked, so that when we produce our policy portfolio, we have a robust set of policies that will restore this country to its former secure position. That's how we're going to do it in advance. And I wouldn't say that giving parents the right to take their children out during term time is right up there at the top of our list of priorities.
Well, it's the top of Rupert's priorities.
That is strange.
So just to reiterate,
to put straight away.
Ben, you would anticipate probably tomorrow or within a couple of days, certainly at some point this week, a proper sit-down between you and Rupert to perhaps align the future of both Restore Britain and
we've had a sit down. We had a sit down a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's about talking turkey now.
Yeah.
As opposed to a sit down.
Interesting times. Well, look, while I've still got you, we've still got a few more minutes, so let's talk more generally. Keir Starmer, Never Hear Keir, has been in Munich making more of his speeches.
Never Hear Keir. Starmageddon.
Vote Reform UK will lose the war or something nonsense like that.
Weird.
But, of course, never mind the security conference in Berlin. Let's talk about his security as our Prime Minister. He isn't very secure in that position. He's given a big interview to the
a lot of people don't
Sun
want that.
on Sunday today saying, I'll still be in charge of Labour. I will take them into the next election. Well, his activity over the last week, firing his entire inner circle, one by one. Morgan McSweeney, his chief of staff, his
Everyone
chief of communications, Tim
He needs
Allen.
to be fired.
He lost also his cabinet secretary, Sir Chris Warmold, and of course, going back, he's lost Peter Mandelson. This guy has been jettisoning his entire inner circle. In a desperate bid to save his own backside, because his backbenchers don't like his inner circle. They think they're too right-wing, too unaligned with the forces of the left. So he's been busy firing them to save his own skin. But these are the last desperate acts of a man who alone doesn't seem to understand he's a dead Prime Minister walking. His days are numbered, aren't they?
His days are numbered. And when you see a Prime Minister firing everyone around themselves, what happens is they remove all the people they could have blamed for the problems, and they become isolated. And,
at the end, you're just going to end up firing yourself.
That was one of Liz Truss's biggest mistakes, was firing Kwasi Kwarteng. And the minute she fired him, after that mini budget that she did, all eyes were on her. And so he has now Starmer has drawn all eyes on him. And you're right, politically, he's the walking dead. He's over. The question, I think the only reason he might survive for a period is there's no obvious replacement. Who would you put in there? David Lammy, who thinks Henry VI came after Henry VII?
No.
Or Diane Abbott? Or John Reynolds?
Oh, no.
Who lied about the fact that he was...
Ed Miliband?
Or Ed Miliband, who can't eat a hamburger without
Ed Miliband is serious. Do you know what the people in the Labour Party are saying? That Starmer is obviously going to go, and that the safe pair of hands they need, the safe candidate to replace Starmer, the safe candidate is Ed Miliband.
Nah, man, no. I swear we had him before. No, man. Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah, well, if that's the safest candidate you can get, a guy who single-handedly destroyed our energy provision, it just boggles the mind. So they're not.
You remember Ed Miliband?
Spoiled for choices to replace Starmer, and that I think may just give Starmer a bit more life.
Yeah, but it can't last too much longer. Well, Ben, we'll have to keep in touch this week because it's going to be a very interesting week. Thank you for joining me this morning. Really good to talk to you as always. Ben Habib, leader of Advance UK.
I'll be honest, like I said, I never heard of Advance UK, and it would be a lot propping up, I guess, because of like the almost overnight success of Rupert Lowe. Has been like, he blew up so quickly, and his popularity is skyrocketing. It was a good video there by Talk TV. I'll pop that in the description when the time comes. What's happening, my brother? Fat Rick Bateman. How you doing, my brother? The king is dead. Long live the king. Which king? No. Imagine. Nah, is it? Which king? You're gonna make me Google it. King UK. Look, and it still comes up. No, he's fine. He's fine. He's got a lot. Oh, Elvis. Yeah. Yeah. King UK. Da 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 da. There's a brand called King UK. How you doing, though, my brother? Hope you're having a good day, man. Hope everything's groovy. I'm Michael Jackson. Yeah, Michael Jackson's one of the greatest ones, man. Do you know anything about Michael Jackson?